Welcome to the channel. I'm Mark, and on this series, I'll be traveling to churches far and wide to bring you encouraging, heartfelt messages from seasoned preachers and youth ministers. These intimate interactions will be to uplift, inspire, motivate, and strengthen your walk with Christ. This is Roadside Ministries. On this episode, Pastor Brian Jones is bringing us an important message about how quickly people give up on the church and turn away from God. Stick around for some illuminating words.
Pastor Brian here, and after pastoring for 15 years, it amazes me how often people are kinder to McDonald's than they are the church. Yes, the Golden Arches gets more love than the local church. Here's what I mean. You ever go through the drive-thru and all you really wanted was a double cheeseburger, no pickles? And somehow you end up with a Big Mac, extra ketchup, and you're frustrated, and rightly so, because they've messed up your order. I mean, maybe you have the world's best McDonald's and they've never messed up your order. But reality is, you've probably gone through and they've done something wrong, or maybe famously certain parts don't work, like the milkshake machine. But my guess is, if you had a bad experience at McDonald's, you probably still went back. Maybe not to that McDonald's, but probably to McDonald's. And I know you didn't give up on fast food because you had a bad experience at one McDonald's. But people do that all the time with the church. They have a bad experience at a church, and a legitimately bad experience. Somebody did something to them, or said something wrong to their kid, or offended their grandmother, whatever it was. And people will take that experience and go, that's it? I'm giving up on all religion. Well, shouldn't you just not go maybe back to that church? Or maybe even that whole denomination? But you've given up on all religion because of one bad experience at one church? Look, I have problems with McDonald's, and I still end up going back. And if I get real frustrated, maybe I'll go hit Wendy's or Burger King, or maybe I'll go to Taco Bell and grab something, maybe even go over to KFC. I don't give up on fast food because, well, I like fast food, and it's really helpful and really beneficial for me. Oh, not health-wise, don't get me wrong, but when I need a quick bite to eat, I find it to be very comforting. You know, church can be the same way. You may have had a bad experience once, and maybe don't go back to that church, although you probably could. It'd probably be all right. But even if you didn't, you could go to a different church, even if you went a different denomination. But I would say don't give up on all of religion because you had one bad experience at one church. You know, the Christian church has all kinds of different denominations. You have Baptist, and you have Methodist, and you have Presbyterians, and you have all kinds of different ones. Just because you had a bad experience at one place is not a reason to give up altogether. I remember we had a Lifeline screening here at church, and they were doing the thing where they check your blood and they do all this stuff, and I was talking to one of the nurses, and she was sharing the story about how she didn't go to church anymore because she'd had a bad experience. And it was truly a bad experience. She walked in on the pastor kissing one of the congregation members, which was a problem because it wasn't his wife. And so she said she stopped going to church. And I understood why you wouldn't want to go back to that church with that pastor because of that experience. But I also know she had just gotten engaged, and so I challenged her. I said, oh, well, when you were dating, did all the men always treat you right? And she said, well, no, of course not. I said, oh, but you didn't give up on men, did you? And she just kind of looked at me with a sheepish look on her face, knowing exactly what I was saying. She gave up on the church after one bad experience. She didn't give up on men. We wouldn't give up on fast food because Mickey D's messes up our order one time. Truth be told, we probably haven't given up on Mickey D's, though they messed up our order several times. How about we show the same kind of grace and the same kind of forgiveness to the church? Let's make sure we still find a church to get plugged into because it's better for you even than McDonald's. Oh, I was trying to get out of the way.
Giving Jesus the glory forever. Giving Jesus the glory forever.
Not only do people stray away from God because of one bad experience at church, people tend to doubt God and turn away from Him because of all the hardships in their lives. The general population seems to have the mindset where if God truly existed, then nothing bad would ever happen to anyone. Look, I get it, but there's a lot that's wrong with that viewpoint. Before I get into that, I want to say that I'm sorry if you're struggling or going through a difficult time. Life can get really tough, there's no doubt about that, but hopefully I can help you to put it into the proper perspective. One thing to note is that being a Christian doesn't mean we won't have the same struggles as everyone else. In fact, we'll probably be tested even more by the mischievous devil. People typically blame God for anything bad that's happened to them, completely forgetting that Satan exists and is the one who truly hates us and orchestrates all the havoc in our lives. Simply put, God doesn't will it if it's evil, but he might not intervene for one reason or another. Remember that he sees the bigger picture and we don't. Maybe all your struggles will impact someone else's life, and they'll therefore be saved because of your hardships. Maybe the death of a family member will give another relative the desire to find answers and to discover God and the truth about why we're here. This life isn't meant to be long. It's only for a short duration. But also understand that God gave us free will, and with that free will, we can choose to sin or do terrible things to others. That began with Adam and Eve. So a lot of the time, it's actually mankind's fault when bad things happen to us. Human beings can choose to be loving and kind or hateful and evil. Every day, we all make that choice. I also want you to look at things from this perspective. If God performed a miracle every time something bad happened to us, nobody would face any real challenges in life that would help to develop their character, build their faith, add to their wisdom, or appropriately test their devotion to Christ. And we'd all believe in God simply by sight or by his works in solving all of our problems all the time. We'd simply believe by witnessing endless miracles, not strictly because of our faith. Another thing is, hasn't mankind caused a lot of their own problems passed down through multiple generations? For instance, a lot of the cancer that we face as a society today was likely brought on by genetically modified foods, pollution, plastics, dumping hazardous waste into our drinking water, putting toxic batteries and electronics into our landfills. The list goes on and on. Greedy corporations have heavily polluted and destroyed our planet, and things like cancer are one of the many very unfortunate consequences that we all face. I, myself, have seen several family members get cancer, some unfortunately losing that battle, and it's absolutely a devastating thing, but I don't blame God for that. The fact is, we're so quick to blame him for anything negative, yet so slow to thank him for giving us life in the first place, and so reluctant to trust in him and his plans for us. I'm thankful for the air I'm breathing right now. I'm thankful that I've been gifted another day to live. These are just some of the things I think about, and I hope that they'll make you reconsider where to put the blame. My question to you is, can you find it in your heart and soul to actually trust in Jesus for the first time in your life? I hope you can, but no matter what you choose to believe or what roads you take, I pray your journey will be fulfilling, joyful, and full of love. God bless. Well, I hope you enjoyed Season 1, and I pray it makes a positive impact on your life. Stay tuned for Season 2.
Sometimes the only one who cares is Jesus Christ. He hears our lonely prayers when no one else is nice. Sometimes the only hope we have from hurt and harm is when we hear, "Come, my child, to Jesus. Come, my child, to Jesus. Come, my child, to Jesus." And we crawl into his arms, and we fall into his arms, and we crawl